This is 7th Generation Warfare. I'm your current host, John Nelson, and in this episode, we'll be continuing to look at Marine Corps Doctrinal Publication number 1, Warfighting. I suggest you go back and listen to the entire playlist. This one is on the evolution of war. War is both timeless and ever-changing. Yeah. The generations of war changes, just like that 6th and 7th generation war. Yeah, it's changing. It's getting nonviolent. While the basic nature of war is constant, the means and methods we use evolve constantly. Changes may be gradual in some cases and drastic in others. Drastic changes in war are the result of developments that dramatically upset the equilibrium of war, such as the rifled bore, mass conscription, and the railroad. So yeah, all those things, when they first came to be, dramatically changed what war looked like. Having a rifle when no one else has a rifle, that would be a game changer. Mass conscription, I actually don't know a whole lot about that. I mean, I understand what conscription is, but how armies were fielded in the past and how big state-sanctioned conscription came to be, that would be interesting to look into because of the 6th generation warfare component of it. Like, how did individuals let themselves be conscripted? I certainly see in my earlier life how that would have been possible, but in my life now and in the life of my children, I don't really see how that's possible for any of us to be conscripted. I would go be a refugee in a third world country before I let my kids die on the field of the battlefield for some banking elite or I don't know who the war would be fought for. But yeah, and then the last one was the railroad, which, I mean, imagine having a railroad when everyone else is pulling their supplies. It's not about it's troop movement, but the logistics. People often forget about logistics of war. Being able to move supplies to the front line with railroad is so much more effective than horse-drawn carriages, because then you have to feed the horses too. One major catalyst of change is the advancement of technology. As the hardware of war improves through technological development, so must the tactical, operational, and strategic usage adopt to its improved capabilities, both to maximize our own capabilities and counteract our enemy's capabilities. Yeah, so there are a lot of people who spend most of their time thinking how technology can be used to kill other people. I had a friend, well, I have a friend from high school, and he went to study aerospace engineering. In his first aerospace engineering class, his professor asked him on the first day of the class, well, asked the whole class, in this industry, there's one question you have to ask yourself right off the bat. And that is, are you okay making weaponry that is going to be used to kill people? This is an aerospace engineering class. And in aerospace engineering, the development of weapons technologies is so pervasive that a freshman in college has to be confronted with that moral dilemma. So, yeah, there's people working on that. I instead want to view technology as how it could better my family, and quite frankly, recently I'm thinking technology is going to becoming a bigger and bigger hindrance. Um, Not that I'm going to become Amish, but I think that the Amish have a lot of the strength. Amish, it's because of religion and stuff. I've never really talked about to an Amish about their about the capacity of them to enact their will, um, but the Amish certainly have much stronger communities, and I think are in a lot of ways more free without technology than a lot of people are with technology. It is important to understand which aspects of war are likely to change and which are not. We must stay abreast of the process of change, for the belligerent who first exploits a development in the art and science of war gains significant advantage. Yeah, like spraying chemical weapons all over the World War I battlefield. Except they didn't do a very good job. I mean, sometimes they sprayed it on themselves. But yeah, there's and that's the escalatory nature of war too. Um, hey, look, we can drop a bomb. We can drop a hand grenade from an airplane. To, hey, look, we can make bombers that and have whole fleets of them firebomb cities and burn 100,000 people to death in a single night. Um, yeah, it gives a big advantage. But in as we were saying in seventh generation war, there it's non-violent, so the costs are not as dramatic. It's not that you're not gonna die because you don't adopt a form of technology into your seventh generation war. Um, you could just find more hardship than you otherwise would, but hardship is all about how you frame it too. If you have the good moral force, then the hardship could actually catapult you to better growth. So uh, I'm kind of as you can see, I'm kind of indifferent on technology. Oh, that was a rather short section. So yeah, uh, war is changing. I'm trying to change it. That's what sixth and seventh generation warfare are about. It's about taking the violence out of it, working on oneself, working on one's family, or working with one's family to avoid the pitfalls of war. Yeah, take the severity and and intent and intensity of war that you would take to training and fighting in war, and just apply it to avoiding war. That's what I'm doing. So, anyways, this is seventh generation warfare. I'm your current host, John Nelson. In this episode, we looked at Marine Corps Doctrinal Publication number 1, Warfighting, and it was the evolution of war.